Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say.
Hello all, and welcome to another question and answer video with me, Truthslayer. As always, if you have anything you would like to ask concerning the wrestling, pro wrestling world, send it my way. I will give you my opinions or answer if you have a question, and we'll go from there. All I ask is to limit it to one question per person, please, and then I will choose out of the questions for that day and post up the ones I like. So let's get started. If WCW or ECW never went out of business, do you think TNA and ROH would be here today? I definitely don't think Ring of Honor would be here today because, in my opinion, Ring of Honor is basically just the continuation of ECW. I know a lot of people don't think that, but I definitely think that if ECW had continued, from what I saw and from what I saw Ring of Honor, particularly in its early days, became, I definitely think that's where Paul was going with it. So I definitely think that that's what Ring of Honor is to a large degree, is what we would have gotten. We probably may have had a few more hardcore matches than what Ring of Honor does, but Ring of Honor does do some hardcore matches, and they're very good at that. WCW, I definitely think would have probably just kept on chugging along, probably been much like TNA is today. For those of you that don't know, Jeff Jarrett's father and Jeff Jarrett did try to buy WCW and were denied, even though they gave the better deal, but Vince had the inside track with the guy that was selling it, so he ended up with it. And there's a lot of the internet news people that were aware of this and do not like that and were not happy about it at the time because, of course, Vince McMahon was holding all the cards and no one wanted to see that. So I watched a video a while back and it asked about the top 5 Shawn Michaels matches, and you left out the Iron Man match. And I was just wondering why, because that is a match that stands out in everyone's mind when you think of Shawn Michaels. So I just wanted to know why that isn't one of your top 5 Shawn Michaels matches. Mainly because I think that's an overrated match. I don't like that match very much. I think it's good, and I think it's a great match, but I don't necessarily think it's as good as the other 5, to be completely honest. I mean, 3 of those matches are 3 of those matches, in my opinion, are 5-star matches. One is very close to being a 5-star match, and the other I just feel is a more entertaining match. I never felt that Iron Man match was all that great, to be honest. But that's just me. I have better questions coming, but I just had to know this. Hey, Truthslayer, do you think Lou Thesz was the greatest pro wrestler to ever to go into the ring, which is claimed by obsessedwithwrestling.com? I would have no problems with that. I definitely think that he's one of the best ever, without a question. For those of you that have never seen Lou Thesz, I think there's a couple of matches of his up here on YouTube, so definitely check them out. He was without a doubt one of the best shooters the wrestling business has ever seen. He was very good in the ring. Could work with a lot of different guys, even back in the 50s when the more entertaining guys weren't necessarily looked upon, and you had definitely 2 sets of guys, and he was one of the few guys that could work with both. Was very good. Everyone holds him in very high regard for a very good reason. He was very good in the ring, and I would have no problem putting him as number 1. I would probably put him maybe 3 myself, but you know, that's all debatable in my opinion. So there we go. What exactly makes a company independent? What are they independent from? Originally what they were independent from was the NWA. And then eventually why they were called independents is simply because they were, it was thought you had 2 big promotions and you had these little tiny independent, you know, renegade promotions was kind of the way it was looked at. And that's why. And so indie feds are the little tiny, you know, local organizations which aren't affiliated with anybody, not affiliated with the NWA, even though the NWA now is considered independent because it's a much smaller promotion. So there you go. What was the best? What was ECW's best match? My personal opinion, it was, and you can take your pick, Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome, take your pick. Any of those matches, without a doubt, was the best match in my opinion. So there you go. Truthslayer, I've never understood whether WWE tried to help ECW or destroy ECW in the late 90s. I'm sure you will remember a few interpromotional matches, plus they loaned Heyman money, but WWE moving to TNA squashed ECW, or TNN, squashed ECW's TV deal. As far as you know, what is the truth? A little bit in between. The WWF helped out ECW more because Vince saw the opportunity to help out another promotion, and in that regard, help him defeat Eric Bischoff. That was why he helped out ECW. Also, them moving to TNN did squash ECW, though TNN never did get a huge support from TNN at the time. I mean, they were put on a bad night. They never got full television support. It was a bad deal all the way around. So WWE did put them out of business, but on the other hand, they did help them at the same time. So it's kind of, you know, a 50-50 deal on that regard. Hey, Truthslayer, do you think WWE needs to change Matt Hardy's storyline to the world title a bit, because people I know are starting the "isn't this looking more and more like the Shawn Michaels Boyhood Dream" angle all over again? Your thoughts? I would agree with that, but I think it works, so I don't think they necessarily need to change it. What do you think about TNA signing Pac-Man Jones to add to wrestling's already fabulous view in the public's eyes? I think it's complete and utter garbage myself. I don't know why they would sign this guy other than to just bring attention to themselves. So, you know, oh well. And I don't think it's going to work in the way they want it to work. Truthslayer, do you think TNA should join forces with ROH and be called NWA ROH? And if so, do you think it will help its success with the name like it did TNA? Since they dropped TNA, can they go with ROH, or is that not even possible? It is possible. I don't think they would, namely because ROH is bigger than the NWA right now, and I don't think they want to do that, and I don't think the NWA wants to supersede ROH. So I wouldn't be surprised if they work together, but I don't think they would necessarily join forces with ROH using the NWA banner. Hey, Truth, in your opinion, what are some great wrestling books that you have read before and recommend to other people? The Death of WCW by Brian Alvarez, the Dynamite Kids autobiography, which is very good, and any book by Scott Keith. There you go. Hey, Truthslayer, I just wanted to ask you what you thought about TNA when they had the weekly pay-per-views, and what you thought about Sports Entertainment Extreme, aka Sex. I liked the 2-hour pay-per-views for the most part. I thought they were pretty good. And I loved the Entertainment Extreme angle, even though it was an NWO ripoff, but I thought it was very well done, and I think it did show that that Russo still had some stuff left. So there you go. Hey, Truthslayer, I got a question. What do you think of TNA getting Andrew Test Martin? I think it's a good deal, except from what I've read in the spoilers, I think they have used him horribly already, which is really bad, because I really do think that he could have been something kind of special. And the fact they brought him in, and apparently they haven't let anybody go, and for him to work, in my opinion, they have to let somebody go, because that roster is getting too big. Hey, Truthslayer, do you think it would be a good idea for WWE to quit the brands, fire some talent, and one show with all the superstars? No, I've said this before. I don't think that's a good idea. Reason being, I think that there are too many guys. I think they're too dependent upon at least the Raw and SmackDown, so I don't see that happening. I just think they need to differentiate the shows better, which I've said numerous times. What are the top 5 matches that the WWE has in their library that you would like to see come out of DVD that haven't? Okay. War Games. There's a War Games 92 match, I believe. And then Barry Windham versus Ric Flair from '97, which hasn't been released. Sheepherders versus the Fantastics. There's a empty arena, no holds barred match between Lawler and Terry Funk. And I don't know if they have the rights to this, but I'm pretty sure they do. But the original 3-way dance, those 5 matches are the ones that I would definitely say. And that's all for this one, and I will talk to y'all later, so have a good one, and be good.
That's right.